Hello, Locke. That's the only Korean that I know and that I used the first time in my life. In terms of communication, in terms of communicating with somebody who's the native Korean speaker in a meaningful way. My name is Joseph Sold, and what you see here is your email, and I'll just cut the chase and I'll let you know what I'm thinking about or how I'm thinking about how we can communicate with each other in terms of language acquisition or language proficiency or learning a second language as a learning Korean as a second language or learning Chinese as a second language or even better learning English as a second language. First of all, I would like to express the idea that I have in terms of how we can communicate or how we can help each other to learn a language. I will extensively use the email that you send me or whatever the media, whatever the maybe a video or maybe a recording, voice recording that we use and actually communicate with each other between you and me. Now, first, I'd like to read through your email and I will communicate with you and I will do some questions and answers. So hopefully we can build up um, a way that we can help each other. And you're going to introduce yourself. You're actually introduce yourself through the Chinese part, and I'll read through it for you. You said, 您好, Joseph So. Thank you for sending me an email first. That's good. And I'm just an average Korean graduate school student. I was wondering what are you majoring at this moment in that? And in terms of English proficiency, I'm pretty much sure if you're average graduate student, you're probably pretty good in English already. Especially if you're from Asia, you've never been out of this country, and you just study by yourself or study in school. You don't have an extensive exposure in terms of using the language to communicate with someone else in the in speaking or in spoken English. You probably need to increase that exposure. And this is the perfect exposure that we actually use the language to try to relate information. We try to communicate information through the media, especially the audio like we're having right now. Okay, now you said so. My memory proficiency is. Yeah, that's a very good term. My memory proficiency is. Well, in terms of my career proficiency is. Before I read you through your email, my that's very basic. Come to think of that, it's kind of sad. 감사합니다. That's the one sentence, and that's it. Okay, but I'm not. I don't have any hesitation because I made a decision. I want to learn some more Koreans. I want to know how to communicate with each other. I want to learn the very basic. So, in terms of learning some very basic Koreans, I would, um, starting from the pronunciation, I would not learn the grammar. I would not learn the reading system. I will. I will extensively at the very beginning. I want to polish the pronunciation as much as I can. Communicatively, I will ask questions about what is this, what is that in Koreans, and that's you're gonna help me to build up those very fundamentally some questions, and also communicatively we have to have this kind of communication because from the very beginning when we learn a language, we forgot all about it when we were born. You communicated with your crying as a baby. You actually want something in life, which is life and death. You're if you don't cry, you die. So you want to cry because you're hungry. You can communicate with your parents. The parents would know exactly what you're crying for. Not necessarily, but they will try to feed you, try to make sure that you don't cry anymore. So cry out loud, if you could. Oh, anyway, let's get to the point. 就是这样，虽然以前我学过大概3、4年的汉语，最近5年呢，其实没有什么机会使用汉语跟别人说话。 I think there's a way that you wanted to be saying it in the Chinese way because your Chinese proficiency is pretty good because you've been learning Mandarin Chinese for 3 or 4 years. And I will read through it and then I'll add something that I think I will help or that I think in the Chinese way. 就是这样。Normally I would not say 就是这样 ，OK。You would say 过去我学过大概30年的汉语，or you can say 过去或以前，过去我学过3、4年。If I would put it this way, I would change it. You say 虽然我学过3、4年的汉语。但是最近5年呢，我并没有很多机会使用汉语，尤其是没有什么机会跟别人说话。所以呢 ，you have to say， 所以呢，我的汉语并没有什么进步，或者是说退步了。This is the whole complete notion or perceptions, or knowledge, or ideas, or complete idea you want to pass on to the other. And I know perfectly well that in terms of Chinese, I was in that. 虽然我学过30年 I would say 虽然我学过30年的汉语，但是过去这5年呢，我并没有跟任何人说话，所以我可能退步了。Okay, this is what I want you want to say. You want to come to the conclusion that your proficiency in Chinese is not progressively making some more development because of the fact that you didn't have an opportunity to use it or to speak it with anyone else whose native language is probably Mandarin Chinese. Anyway, let's continue on. 在2011年，我去北京，在北师大学了汉语，学了汉年的汉语，学了几年的汉语。Probably that's more correctly to say. 这实在是我脑海里还留着很好的记忆。I wouldn't say that. You say 2011年我去北京，我在北师大学了几年的汉语，我脑海里记忆深刻。I want to say I'm very impressed. I have a good memory. I really, in terms of long-term memory, yes, sort of. Anyway, in terms of this complete notion, I would say it. 在2011年，我去北京，在北师大学了几年的汉语，我的记忆深刻。And that's it. And then you continue on. 以前我特别喜欢生词或者是成语背景故事。I would say, 在那时候 at the time, it's not 以前 it's at the time because when you were in Beijing. 在那时候，我特别喜欢一些生词，也喜欢很多成语故事，还有那些成语故事里面的背景故事。You don't really have to say 背景故事，就是成语故事。我喜欢成语，也喜欢成语故事。For example, 鸦雀龙鸣落深山等等。For example, I'm not sure what is 鸦雀。It's not a 成语。Usually, 成语是鸣落深山。成语故事 ，there are 4 term idioms. 名落深山，金榜题名，一言九鼎，一落千丈。Stop all the writing. Anyway, this is very interesting. I'm very fond of that. I like the 4 terms. I like the Chinese idioms. And also, you mentioned you like calligraphy. 你说你也喜欢书法，我不太喜欢书法。And you say 这时候我更喜欢写翻译。And now you come to this one. You want to say 这时候我特别喜欢翻译。And that's it. And you also want to mention a little bit about the Chinese pinyin system or 注音符号。你说以前学了一点点的注音符号 ，you have to say add 一点点，那点点一点点的注音符号，但是我已经忘到脑后了。但是因为实用性的问题， We don't say that in Chinese that way. 因为都没有用的关系，所以渐渐忘记了，我已经忘到脑后了。And then you want to wrap up your little essay. You say 好的，我的学习还没有结束，下星期才会结束。It's awkward. And you say 最后，在这边说明一下，这学期我还没有结束，但下星期就会结束了。也许那个时候我们可以说的更多更好。I understand you're pretty busy at the end of the term. You have a lot of tests going on, but it's understandable. And I would like to wish you good luck and then in your test. Now, this is the first email that you sent it to me. The second email is that you said, Mr. So, hi, would it be much better to know your Korean proficiency? I have mentioned earlier that my proficiency in Korean is very low. So I will stay focused on how I can build up some of the very basic, fundamental, basic levels, like cornerstone. As means, yeah, your name is probably Rock, right? Okay. Like you, I'm not a certified Korean instructor, so I think I can help you with the writings of spoken English. I probably won't need your help with the writing, but I appreciate that. Maybe later on, I will need you to help me to write. And I definitely don't need spoken Korean, and new words. Definitely need the new words. And it's almost impossible for you to teach someone Korean grammar. So, oh no, I'm not going to learn any grammar. So you don't have to worry about learning grammar. And I'm going to say that in Chinese. 你说了你说你不是一个执照的教韩文的老师，你不用担心，你不用我也并不希望说你是一个老师，但是你只要是一个母语是中文的是汉文的人韩语的人，我相信你讲韩国话一定是非常道地的，你能够跟我沟通，用韩语跟我沟通。那你又说在这里呢？你能帮助我学怎么样写韩文，或者说说韩文，我是希望能够集中在说的部分，在说能够让我能够进一步，然后学一些新的词汇，你说这是对我们来讲，你说是不可能，你还教我韩语不可能。对我现在也不想学韩文的文法，可能会稍微太照进了一点，稍微太早了一点。然后接下来你说你只会用你的 gut feeling， 就是说你本能的或本 gut feeling。What does gut feeling means in Chinese? Let me put in there. Gut feeling Chinese. Translate. Gut feeling Chinese. 胆量的感觉that's the I don't like that translation. 那胆量的感觉 gut feeling is not 胆量的感觉，直觉 you can just say I can use my 我可以本能的，我直觉上我可以让你学造句。Yeah, this one is probably a good idea to put it that way. I only use my gut feelings when I compose sentences. 如果你要用中文说这句话呢，你可以说。我可以很直觉性的直接教你怎么样使用句子 ，and that's it. Okay, thank you, best wishes. All right, thank you very much. I hope this video will help you, and hopefully, in the long term, I will be able to make another video for you, or even better yet, we can communicate through Skype or any other similar, like a WeChat or any other video conferencing. Program that we can help each other to build up some good way of communicating with each other and learning from each other. Thank you very much. Law. I hope I pronounced correctly. This is Joseph So signing off.